Hi everybody! Today I am here with a very special guest.
My name is Anika Britta and I am originally from South Africa and I've been living in Taiwan for 13 years.
What brought you to Taiwan?
So in South Africa, things were going really bad for us and it was really difficult for us. I got retrenched and then my husband got retrenched at the age of 24 and 26. My husband had a cousin here in Taiwan and he said, well, why don't you guys come over and come try and see what it's like. Got on a plane, landed, and I was just overwhelmed and taken by how amazing this place is, even though I couldn't understand anything. There was no Google Translate back then, right?
Yeah, no.
And no Google Maps, so it was quite a struggle to navigate, but I loved the challenge and I really enjoyed meeting people from Asia and getting to know the culture. It was something that I really loved, and now we're sitting here 13 years later.
You've now got 2 children.
I came over with Taylor when she was 2.5. Then I had Tristan.
How was it coming over as a mum?
That was actually the biggest challenge for me. I was extremely nervous. I was scared. Coming here, obviously there's no support from parents or family members. It was basically just me and my husband. And it actually wasn't that bad. Everybody just wanted to either touch her hair or look at her eyes or take photos of her, and she became Little Miss Popular.
You had a community.
Yes, immediately. People just wanted to help. I will always be grateful and thankful for Taiwan and Taiwan's people for what they've done for us. So.
Hey everyone, there is a discount on my pre-recorded class, so go over to my website and check it out now. For you, you've been here for 13 years. Your parents, your husband's parents, they're all back in South Africa.
Yeah.
When was the last time your kids got to see their grandparents?
Now in January, for the first time, my mom and my dad are coming over.
That's so exciting.
I'm very excited.
So when was the last time you saw them?
Last time I saw mom and dad was 10 years ago.
You haven't seen your parents for 10 years?
10 years. They haven't met Tristan either.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I'm extremely emotional about it. When Tristan was born, for example, I would have given anything for my mom and my dad to have experienced my pregnancy, or for them to have been here when Tristan was born, or when I got my degree, you know. I wish that they were here to celebrate that with me. Or on that side with mom and dad, my sister had a baby and now I'm an auntie and I still haven't met her yet. So I don't have words to express how I'm feeling and how I've been absolutely counting the days. I think as a mother, and I'm sure that you can relate, when we go to bed at night and everybody else has gone to bed, we have our longing and we have our moments. But as a mother and as a wife, our focus is on our children and our family, and we're always busy taking care of them.
And homesickness is a real thing. So
it's a real struggle, yeah.
Go 10 years is...
It's a long time.
So now you're working full-time and parenting full-time,
yeah,
and studying full-time.
I have no idea how I've done it. I graduated almost a year ago. My degree was in psychology, social science. I studied through the South African College of Applied Psychology. It was really an extremely exciting time for me.
I know right now that you are working with Hackstrong.
Yes.
Do you want to explain to us what that is?
Hackstrong is an organization that actually was established a couple of years ago to support and to help Greg, and South African, also living in Taiwan. And his story is he had a really bad scooter accident, literally knocking at death's door. He lost his one eye. He always says he might have lost his eye, but he's gained a lot more vision. And that's how Hackstrong started. And once Greg got better and he was on his feet again, he ran with Hackstrong and he ended up supporting expats in Taiwan. Obviously, we don't have lawyers, so we can't really give professional legal advice, but we can always guide and steer you in the right direction, or maybe tell you where to go. The same with individuals who struggle with mental health. We have people who are able to assist and who can help and maybe just guide them in the right direction, and maybe send them to someone who they could see. And I think something that a lot of people don't think of is, even though the island is this small, language barriers, cultural barriers are quite extreme. And a lot of people struggle with that. And sometimes we have expats come over for the first time and they're lonely and they don't realize how difficult it is to live in a country that you don't have support like you had back at home. So basically people reach out to Hackstrong and they're like, please help. I'm lonely or I'm struggling with depression or anxiety, or a friend has had a car accident. And then myself and Greg and Sean Beddington, we would come together and see how we can help these individuals and how we can steer them in the right direction.
You can put them in touch with the people they need to be in touch with, whether it's medical facilities,
life insurance, health insurance, that type of thing, yeah.
Okay, and the same with like GoFundMe's.
You know, a lot of people have many skills and many resources. So here by us at Hackstrong, just for example, we recently had a case where a gentleman had a really bad infection, going into a coma, and then ended up in hospital. And his close friend didn't know who to contact. Where's his family? Who's his family? And he reached out to Hackstrong. I ended up being a supporter for him, and I created this message group. Also had a pet and no one was there to take care of the pet, and the pet had been in his apartment for like 5-6 days. So I ended up having to find his family, Lisa Q, who's really well known in the expat community for health insurance. And we ran with it on Facebook and just spread the word as much as possible to try and get as much funds as we can to support him. And now he's back at home with his sister. This is really just a case that ended up on such a positive note.
These things like leaving a pet behind if you get taken into hospital, that's where your family would usually step in.
Exactly.
And if you don't have family here.
Exactly. Hackstrong will be your family.
How did you get involved with Hackstrong?
While I was busy with my degree, I remember my professor saying, we need to start volunteering. And my husband brought home a newspaper on Taipei Times page, but the whole page was like about Hackstrong. My husband was just like, this is it. This is your calling. I went into Facebook and it just snowballed. My biggest calling in life, and something that is so important to me, is just making sure that people know that they're not alone. I know what it feels like to feel alone and to be alone, and there's nothing more scarier than that. Even though a situation might look and seem so big and so scary, someone that's an outsider can have a quick look at it and we can make it so much better together. That's what I'm here for. I am here to help, and I'm here to manage, and I'm here to guide, and I'm here for whoever needs a listening ear.
So what's the other organisation you're part of?
Another organisation that I volunteer for is a very young organisation that has just recently surfaced here in Taiwan, and it's called SATAI. SATAI, like South Africa, and Taiwan, TAI. And so SATAI is the South African Taiwan Association of Inter-Exchange. And basically the purpose of that is they want to establish exchange programs between South Africa and Taiwan.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. For example, business, culture, sports, imports and exports like wines from South Africa.
Very important.
Very important.
Very important things like us getting good wine.
We also have a nurturers group, which basically does the same. We are 3 girls that are there to support South Africans in Taiwan and to help them if they're going through a bit of a difficult time.
Helping them to find the resources that they need and put them in touch with organisations that are going to help them on their way. And
Absolutely.
Just letting them know, like you said, that like however lonely you feel, you're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. But if you have ever gone through something that is, you really don't want other people to feel the same or to go through that, then you would do everything and everything in your power to make that better. That is exactly what helpers are. Another big thing with Hackstrong is confidentiality, because people don't necessarily want to go to work and tell their co-worker of their struggles right now. I also have a case where, someone had a scooter accident and they didn't have enough money for legal advice or for a lawyer, and they didn't know about the Legal Aid Foundation. And here in Taiwan, there's Legal Aid Foundation that are there to assist not only Taiwanese citizens, but expats. Remember that.
But that's really important because we wouldn't know that it is there and available to us. Like quite often, things that are available to Taiwanese people aren't necessarily available to us because we can't get the Taiwanese ID. So having an organization there to give you this kind of information and advice is just so important.
I agree.
To wrap this up, what we really want to tell you is,
whenever you're feeling a little bit down, a little bit sad, or a little bit lonely, or you might have an issue and you don't know who to turn to, please do not hesitate to turn to us at Hackstrong. Just pop us a message, ask a question, and we will surely be there to help and assist.
Let's be clear that this is a free organization offering free advice and help,
Guidance.
and it is confidential.
100% confidential.
Those are the biggest fears people might have.
Yes.
And so it doesn't hurt just to reach out
and ask. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nikki.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks.
I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel, but save that time and go over to Facebook. If you need any help or advice, send them a message. And if you are willing to offer help and advice or have skills that would be beneficial, please message Hackstrong.
Absolutely. We would love some volunteers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.